All right, welcome back to Comics with Drew. I'm Drew. As you can see, uh, there might be another Drew that's like me, but I'm the only Comics with Drew. And we have, or I have, a guest. I have Michael Oden of Nine Realms Publishing fame with me, and this is just going to be a manga stream. So no, this is not Weeb Wars. this is
What?
this is
No
just
Weeb Wars.
no Weeb Wars. No. This is just people appreciating manga and not getting too crazy about it, just appreciating it. And so we got a couple things to talk about. Actually, I made the mistake because uh, most of you probably that are watching this probably don't know. I am working on a short manga myself for my own actual Western comic book thing, and it's part of a component for it. And so I went on Twitter the other day, and I made the mistake. Let's see here. We're going to share a screen here. Let's go share a screen, and we're going to share this screen. I made the mistake of saying that I don't understand people that draw entire books in manga art style, and I think everybody knows what we're talking about here. So when you watch an anime, that's manga
Yeah,
art style. Okay, right? Right,
yeah,
Michael? All
yeah.
right.
That is
So
correct.
so much like SPQR's Bizarre Adventure here is
Oh, that's a good looking
that's
campaign.
that is this is manga art style. Okay, right? And we're not talking about Korean mongers. We're talking about real manga, right? That's an inside joke, by the way. And please don't come after me, Mr. Gentleman from Australia. It's good natured ribbing, okay? Um, but but when I'm talking about wanting to, you know, make my own manga, my own actual manga for my story, just completely from scratch to serve my story for a superhero comic book project. I want to make it authentic, right? And so, I was looking around doing some research on different crowdfunding manga, and there's some really good stuff out there, but they're clearly left to right, right? And so I was talking to Michael. Um, let's see here. Oh, that's my other screen. Uh, well, like I was talking to Michael. I don't understand why people would go through all the effort to make art like this that looks fantastic like this, right? And like this to make it left to right. It's kind of like, oh, I don't know. It's kind of like drinking caffeine free Diet Coke, right? It's like, why are you doing that? Just drink the Coca Cola. So, but anyway, so I made the mistake of bringing this up right here, and here are some of the answers that I got. Right. So as you can see, I'm not hugely popular on Twitter, at least yet. Right. It's part of my old world domination plan. It's just in its nascent stages.
You
But
got to start somewhere, man.
I
It's
know,
all
right?
baby steps.
You got to start somewhere. So I make this comment. I don't understand people that draw entire books in manga style art and then make it Western style to read. Why, please, why? And so the first, I got the first reply is from Wolf Spain Comics, who I don't, do I even follow this person? Yeah, we follow each other, but I don't think I talk to this person very often. But anyway, so he goes, I would imagine it being for the general audience. True manga fans probably won't care if a comma reads right to left or vice versa. But there are people who don't really read manga who won't read it just because it's backwards. Well, I'm not making the book for them. That's the point. It's like when you say your target audience, your target audience are people that read manga in English. So it reads the way it's formulated. With sequential art, it's very important that you know how the story is being told, because you can have the dialogue and everything, and the dialogue can be rearranged, but a lot it's the visual medium. So it's like, I don't know, have you ever seen people trying to avoid copyright strikes on YouTube by reversing images of movies? Have you seen that, Michael? Does that drive you
That's
insane?
that's literally the entire AMV community. There, Drew. Every single person that has ever made an anime music video where they like take clips of from their like favorite anime and put them to their favorite songs. That is literally all they do. Is they will reverse the image.
Is that what it is? Because I just it's weird. It's not natural, right? It's almost like uncanny valley for 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 sequential art. And for those who are not familiar, uncanny valley is when something looks just so close to being real, yet so far. And it's like you can tell it's not human, right? There's not really a soul there, but it's just real enough to make you feel like you should be checking your closets for things coming out to stab you. So that's what the uncanny valley is. And what you're saying there, that reminds me a lot of that when people just reverse things, and it's like do you think that they're doing it because they're lazy, or do you think that they're doing it because they don't know how to construct it properly? Because it's hard for me to imagine, like, especially if you're doing a crowdfunding situation, that you would not know how to construct this correctly. You know what I mean?
I think that it's I think that it actually does touch on a bit of what Wolfsbane Comics was talking about. I think that it's more timidity than anything. It's, well, I want to make sure that everyone wants to buy my book. But like, fact of the matter is that a good looking book is going to sell, and they're not going to care. And if your whole thing is that you want to do a manga, well, at the end of the day, that also goes back to what you were just saying. Every product has a target audience. The target audience of a manga is going to be a fan base of manga. And as we discussed before the stream, manga fans are in it for everything, right? It's not just the art and the story, it's the whole experience. The manga tankobon being printed right to left. That's like most of the people that I know that even just, shamefully do their own like little web mangas, and they know that they're not particularly good, they still do them right to left.
Yeah.
Because it's a part of that experience. And that's ultimately what it comes down to, is that your target audience here being the manga aficionado, or the weeb, or the otaku, or whatever word, however you want to describe it, they appreciate the product being indicative of what it is authentically, right? Yeah. And so I think that a good product's going to stand on its own. People are going to want it no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's right to left, and you can even have a little fun with it. In SPQR's Bizarre Adventure, the interior rear cover is Pompey Magnus laughing at the reader, being like, "You fool! This is not the beginning of the book. You were deceived."
That's the first page, like backwards.
So if you open the back cover and you try to start reading from that part, you have the villain of the book pulling a JoJo reference and making fun of them, like, haha, this is not the right way to read this.
Oh my
God. At the other end.
Dude, that is brilliant. That is brilliant. Because when I've been doing tankobon reviews, and a lot of them, they open up like that. If you flip the left cover open like it's a traditional Western book, it'll say, "Oh wait, you're not at the right place. You need to turn it around and then read it like a civilized person, you savage American, and you Westerner, you uncouth Westerner." So,
and as a fan of manga myself, I'm well aware, and I knew that I wanted to have something like that in there, and so I did, and I made sure it's just something that you can have a little fun with.
That's amazing.
And
so, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go on.
No, so tell us about. Well, we're going to get back to that, but I want to talk about this. Everybody that's watching the stream later, this is a live campaign for Michael's SPQR's Bizarre Adventure, and as you can tell, with Bizarre Adventure is a reference to JoJo, right? And now I've not read JoJo's Bizarre Adventure like properly yet. I've read a little bit about it online, but what I want to do is I want to buy an actual volume, and that I'm going to be buying that probably by the end of this week. I'll be picking up volume 1 of that, and And so I'm going to be doing like a proper review of it. I'm going to read it through. I'm going to show it. Look, let's see what I got and all that stuff, because that's the way God intended, right? So, but that being said, I've never read JoJo, and I'm not familiar with any of the memes because, like, okay, boomer, right? No, I'm not really boomer. I'm not that old. All you people that don't know a world without a cell phone or a smartphone, even, yeah, no, there was such a time that you could be like not a boomer and still not know this stuff. But anyway, but that being said, which is actually kind of odd because JoJo is from 1985. I think that's when it started.
Yes, it began in the 80s. It's one of the most influential manga and anime of all time. Most shonen manga and anime reference JoJo all the time.
Yeah.
Especially part 3, which is probably the most iconic JoJo story, Stardust Crusaders.
Okay.
Which is where this book takes the majority of its influence from.
Right.
So the whole deal with SPQR's Bizarre Adventure is, it was just a funny idea that came to me after, a sleep deprived week of work, and
Isn't that where all the ideas come from?
Yeah, right. It's
right?
Something like that.
They all come from sleep deprivation, that's for sure.
But I saw one of my my favorite nerd pages, who's actually going to be helping promote the book, which I'm super excited about. Daily updates on the status of the Roman Empire, and they have a YouTube channel called Pax Romana. They are they had posted up, they had new merch, and they had this T-shirt that's got like this bust of Cato the Elder, who's a big figure in Roman history, because he was the guy that was always like, Carthage must be destroyed. And so the T-shirt's got his famous in Latin, Carthago delenda est, and it's in JoJo text, and the bust is drawn like a JoJo character. And so I was just like, I just started giggling to myself, and I was like, oh man, it would be funny to see Julius Caesar as a stand user. And so I doodled that out, and I put it up on Twitter, and within a few minutes I had people messaging me being like, you're gonna make that happen, right? And so yeah, then I started to look for an artist. I found Kari Salviejo, after talking to my colorist for Elysian Fields, because he works with a lot of manga artists. And she's blown me away. She's absolutely one of the best artists that I've worked with. Her turnaround on pages is insane.
I mean, look at this, guys. I mean, this is 100% professional level artwork. This is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Like that's Kari right there. Like, I mean, that page right there, like all of these, she knocked out, and like each one took her maybe a day.
It's amazing. That's outstanding. So I don't mean to cut you off here, but one of the cool things about this is that, even though this is not just an SPQR campaign, you've got a bunch of other stuff from Elysian Fields and the Pyramid Gambit and the Embrace. But if you're just a manga fan out there, and you want to find an actual true manga to crowdfund and back, you can get this for only $10. And it's 20 shipped, and that is a steal when it comes to crowdfunding stuff. So that's something I want people to focus on, because and don't get me wrong, look at everything else, but if you're into manga, and this is what this particular stream is about, is just manga tonight. I'm sorry, Batman fans, but it's all about manga tonight. Sorry, Embrace fans. Sorry, Dean, if you ever see this. No, but seriously, you can get this level of artwork here that's totally brand new independent stuff, and it is right to left, not left to right. So check this out, right? See, how hard is it to do this? 11 January 49 BCE, and then you got Darling of Venus. Julius Caesar approaches the Rubicon River on the border of Cisalpine Gaul in Italy. And by the way, It's not the Jeep Rubicon. There aren't any Jeep dealerships out here. This is the River Rubicon. So, but look, you got boom, and then it's right there, and then you go down to the right, and then you read. And so, how hard is that? People act like this is some kind of like magic, right? This is like Sean Bean saying, "What is this new devilry in the Lord of the Rings?" Right, with Balrog showing up, and it's not. It is not. It's just freaking page layout. That's all it is. And it's black and white. And now let me ask you this: Are you printing this on like the newsprint, or are you printing it on standard comic print?
I don't know yet. I'm talking to the printer, and I have it on black and white, so they might put it on matte pages. Mm-hmm. So that would be more similar to like that newsprint style. But I had they have a specific manga setting on their printer site, so I won't know until I get my proof. Right.
Okay.
Because all it gives me options as far as the paper is like, black and white or color, Yeah. So I put black and full on black and white. But if they do have the ability to do that like manga style newsprint, oh yeah, like absolutely, that's what I'm gonna do.
Let me ask, if I may, do you have additional chapters of this plan? Because I see that this goes for 25 pages. So is this just a one shot?
So this one really just serves as a one shot. But if this does go as well as I think that it could, I actually have 2 other stories planned. And when I do those stories, those will be like full on manga tankobon, like 80 to 120 page books.
So each of those stories themselves?
Yeah.
All right, great. So this is kind of like a pilot episode of a comic book.
Yeah. In true JoJo fashion, this will be the only one that has Julius Caesar in it. Like the whole point of JoJo is that each series of JoJo follows a new protagonist, and while there might be crossover from time to time, like the protagonist of each series is a new JoJo. And so like one of the stories that I have planned is effectively kind of a blend of parts 4 and 5 of JoJo. No, part 5 and 6 of JoJo, and it would effectively be Caligula waging a war against Neptune because Caligula is crazy. And
Caligula. That dude was a piece of work. Let me tell you what. all you kiddos out there, you should read up on some Caligula. You think you run into online bullies, dude?
Caligula is a whole.
Was it him? Yeah, is Caligula with the horse in the Senate, or is that Nero?
Yeah, that was Caligula. He made his horse consul, and then the one that I personally love that gets overlooked for the horse as consul is he sent out the Roman army to stab the ocean and gather seashells in a war against Neptune.
Wow. That's productive.
Yes.
Productive for your insanity. So let's get back to the book real quick here. So because I wanted to talk about manga, because I'm getting back into reviewing manga after Shonen Jump or Viz Media or whoever it was decided to copyright strike my Sakamoto Days review. And I was very upset because I hadn't backed up that video and YouTube disappeared it. And they said, no, you may not have this, even though you made it. And I was like, all right. So anyway, I stopped doing it for a while, but since I'm getting back into it, I wanted to talk about not just the SPQR, but I also want to talk about the fact that we have a bunch of other options here for me to look into. Now, what I typically have tried to do is I have tried to find a brand new manga, chapter 1 that's brand new, like hot off the press. That has been difficult lately. So if you know of anything on here that looks freaking amazing or just completely stupid and out of control, then please recommend it. One of my favorite ones that I've read is Hard Boiled Cop and Dolphin. Have you read that, Michael?
I have not. But what I will recommend is I don't think, unfortunately, I don't think that it will be on Shonen Jump.
That's okay. I mean, it can be anywhere.
But Vinland Saga is absolutely fantastic.
Yes,
and
I've read some of that one.
I cannot recommend Kentaro Miura's Berserk enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, both of those have very similar feels to them in both their art style and storytelling. And Vinland Saga, in a way, also at one point kind of becomes the antithesis to Berserk as well. They're fantastic series. Absolutely love them. Well, this is Shonen Jump. Yu Yu Hakusho is always a good choice. It's old, but like it's good.
Well, the wonder of being me and not having ever read manga before a year ago is that most likely, if you're talking about something, I have not read it. So it's funny because you see all these movie reaction videos where people say, I'm watching Titanic for the first time. I mean, we're talking about movies that literally everybody on Earth saw when they came out. And then people are like, I've not seen Indiana Jones. And I'm like, how have you not seen the? I mean, it's you wonder if these people were actually raised in Amish country and never had access to televisions, because it's hard to, I think, have any exposure over the course of your first 18 years of life and not had seen something like Star Wars on network television. Right? So, but anyway, they make all these reaction videos and I'm like, oh my God. And then they're like going, Luke's father is Darth Vader? And they like lose their mind. I'm like, I don't know if I buy this. But that being said, there are tons of manga here, and hopefully they won't come after me and copyright strike me for just showing you what's available to read, crazy people. But this is a really good deal, by the way. I think it's like $2.99, right? $2.99 a month, and you can read all this stuff. It's like
that's outstanding.
It's a ridiculous deal. If you have like a tablet, boom.
That literally puts the big two to shame, because all of their digital platforms that do the same thing are like $10 a month.
Oh yeah,
it's a limited catalog.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at this, right? You've got let's see, where did I see it? Like chapter 250. I mean, my God, a lot of this stuff. I mean, not everything goes all the way back, but a lot of them do. So, like, let's see here. Let's go with PvP. I don't know anything about this particular one, and we're not going to read it. So slow down, relax, everybody. But yeah, see, free, all the way down to 1. So I mean, there's not a better deal if you're looking for comic stuff. And when I say comics, I mean, they say like the comics gate, people, the hardcore comics gate people say comics is for everybody, and it is. And all comics are comics. So I don't buy this argument that only superhero comics that were created in New York City in the 1930s count as comic books. That's not what I think. I think that anything that is sequential art that tells a story, just like this here. I don't think Michael's going to copyright strike this stream, thank God. But here you go. I'm giving away the entire thing right here. But see here. So I mean, this is it's the same thing. It's black and white and reads backwards. So to me, people just need to calm themselves down, right? So there's a phrase that my wife uses, but I can't use it on the stream. But basically says, calm your chest, and you can derive that from there. So, but let's get back to some of the arguments that I had back here, by the way. So, and this is something that kind of drove me crazy, and I have not had the pleasure of going to war with people on Twitter about manga. Thank God. So far, but I'm rapidly seeing that I might not be able to avoid it. So, excuse me. So let's see here. I love this one, by the way. Influence and inspiration doesn't have to be that pedantic. Manga originally emulated Western comics. Tezuka cited Disney, but they didn't reverse their page order for Japanese readers to be more like Western comics. Your market is not Japan. No, stupid. My market is not Japan. But I defy you to walk into a bookstore and go to the manga section, which oftentimes covers shelves, shelves, and shelves, like 100, like 500 square feet of shelving space, and I challenge you, like Charlie Murphy, right? Challenge you to find
I
one
mean,
that's left to right, right?
you,
And you
you
see all these
say,
little middle schoolers and 6-year-olds reading this stuff right to left. They're not stupid. They're able to read it. Go ahead, Mike. What are you gonna say?
yeah, and so what I'd like to add into your comment here is you mentioned, look at the massive displays of manga.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a step back and take a look at this, because not even 5 years ago, manga sections in bookstores were like the tail end of the graphic novel section. You'd have maybe like a shelf of space for them. It has now come to the point where in most Barnes and Nobles, the manga section is larger than the graphic novel section, or at very least the same size, dedicated with the same shelf space,
Mm-hmm.
because the manga sells better than the Western books. And the Western books and the Western comics that they do keep around aren't generally from the past 5 years. They're usually like big runs that sell well anyway, like
Mm-hmm.
evergreen titles like Neil Gaiman's Sandman or The Dark Knight Returns and stuff like that. Iconic stories that everyone loves and have always loved. But like recently, manga has completely demolished the graphic novel market. So if you're gonna sit here and be like, oh well, you're not catering to Japan, it doesn't matter, because by and large, the domestic comic reader prefers manga over trade paper.
Oh yeah.
They prefer manga over American comics. So why are you going to base your formula around Western comics to try and cater to a demographic that doesn't care about Western comics, but instead cares about manga?
Thank you. Exactly. It's like, when I go to a comic book shop, right? I'm not walking in there looking for left to right manga. That's stupid. You know why? Because I can go to Target. Yes, Target, where your
Mhm.
mom goes to get her cosmetics. You can go to Target and get My Hero Academia, right? Right on the
Yeah,
shelf. And you know what that is? That's right to left. So don't come at me with this stupidity about your target market is no, okay, look, my target market for comic books is Western audiences, right?
yeah,
My target manga, my target market for manga is also Western audiences, because Westerners aren't all stupid,
yeah.
as unlike what you may come across on Twitter. Twitter is
Oh,
not a good
it's a,
a good control
it
sample.
is it is a cesspool. And I think I mentioned it before we hopped on here. I've just gotten to a point where I've taken the Keanu Reeves approach to things, or at least I try to. There are certain times where I can't help it. Like somebody says something just so outlandish and so stupid that I can't. But like for the most part, if I see somebody that has not even a hot take, but just a take that's just bad, I will stop myself from typing anything and I will move on, because it's not worth it. These people are like you're always going to find somebody that'll complain about something, and there's always these uninformed opinions all over the place on Twitter, and it's just one of those things. It's just something that you deal with, um, and so I just focus on trying to promote my products and interacting with people that I think I can have an intelligent conversation with, and yeah, that's what I try to do, but it doesn't always pan out that way.
No, no, it doesn't, sadly. So now I love 6 a.m. comics. This guy's a wonderful cartoonist and an
Yeah,
artist. He says if the books are in English, there's no reason not to have it read left to right as well. So I don't know. So he later on in this thread says, "Oh, I don't have any manga." Well, why are you talking about it? We're talking about manga, guys, right? We're talking about practice, and we're not talking about a game. We're talking about practice. Yeah. There's a little bit of Allen Iverson for you. So let's see. I assume because they're Western and they're made audiences too. Oh my God, right? This is why I don't go on Twitter all that often, is because it's like, again, like I said, I don't understand. Let's highlight it here, guys. I don't understand people that draw entire books in manga art style and then make it Western style to read. And then it's like, oh my God. So I know we're belaboring the point. We're beating a dead horse. And we're beating a dead horse from right to left, by the way, not from left to right. the reading order of beating the dead horse. So, but anyway.
We're doing it in a civilized fashion.
Civilized for a much more elegant time, right? So let's see here. That's a Star Wars reference for you guys out there. So yeah, I'm talking about a second. And then Fizz Chozo. Books drawn in manga. Go ahead.
Do we have to address anything that Fizz Chozo says? Doesn't that just automatically get disqualified?
They rolled up into they rolled up into my thing, right? So and oftentimes, by the way, even when I disagree with people, I will still like their tweets and replies, just because I'm being personable and friendly. So, but books drawn in manga style already usually have the manga style subverted by being in color. No, they don't. Oh my God, right? No. I'm like Steve Carell. I'm like Michael in The Office. No. It's not in color. Oh my God. I think My Hero Academia. No, actually, manga. If you go to Shonen Jump, right? If you go here, a lot of times, like the actual very first page will be in color, right?
Yes.
Or the title page. Like all this stuff's in color, right? Because it's digital. That's why it's in color. Duh. But one of the appealing aspects of it, I don't know. When you first got into comics, I guess you got into comics when you were a kid, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and so when you were a kid, they were still on 4-color newsprint, right?
Sometimes.
Actually, so let's see here. This right here. This is Robin number 7, right? By Dixon, no less. This is the very first comic book I ever bought myself, ever. And but what's cool about this book is that that's 4-color newsprint, right?
Yeah.
And when you open it and smell it, you know what it smells like? It smells like Crayola crayons. That's exactly what it smells like. And so that's one of the things that I like about. I'm gonna pull out that one. That's what I like about manga, right? Because you still have that, kind of nice tactile sensation, and I think that's a part of the reading experience that I think is attractive. Honestly, I really do. A lot of people don't see that. Say, I'm going to read things on my phone, or I'm going to read things on my tablet. But there's nothing quite like just having. You can chuck this thing in your backpack. If you're 8 years old, you can just chuck this in your backpack. You don't have to worry about protecting it, or you're not collecting it. There's like billions of these made. So it's like the perfect reading material for middle schoolers, right? And elementary school kids. So, but that's what I'm saying is like when I see things like if it's paint, it's done in color. It's not done in color, guys. So stop it.
The only manga that I have seen that has like a colored version, like a fully colored version, is JoJo, and that is because Araki has these like crazy color palette ideas, and it's not when you get it printed, it's never printed in the color, but like there's digital versions of it that are colored because like Araki does all this crazy stuff.
I just realized that, by the way, I'm showing things to the camera and you can't see it because you're calling it. so my bad. I was actually showing my comic book of Robin. It's really cool. So
I saw that. It was awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's great. You know, the reason I bought it, the real reason I bought it wasn't because I wanted to read a Robin comic book. I wanted a Batman comic book, and where I was, they didn't have any Batman comic books, but they had this Robin one. I'm like, oh, Batman might show up in here, but it was just my luck. Bruce Wayne had gotten his back broken, and Azrael was running around as Batman. So
Ugh.
there was no real Batman in this Robin book, but Robin, the art was just fantastic. So it was like Timothy Grummett, or I don't know if it's Grummett or Grumet. I can never tell.
Jean-Paul Vallée was a dark time for Batman.
Yes, yes, it was. So, but well, we're not gonna get into that.
We won't get into that. We'll leave that there.
So
yeah, that further time.
So that being said, yeah. So no, I guess the moral of the story is that if I'm gonna go to Twitter to talk about manga, I'm gonna have to fully expect people that know nothing about manga to reply to me and tell me I'm wrong.
Well, you want to know what the fun part about that is, Drew?
What's that?
Is that you're going to have plenty of people that do know manga and froth at the mouth about it, and will tell you you're wrong anyway as well, because that happens all the time.
I am sure that's the case. So anyway, so I'm switching back to Shonen Jump here, everybody. So for those at home who don't have a camera, so as you can see, I do subscribe to Viz Media. So please, if you see anything here that you think would be fun for me to do a review of, I'm not going to be able to cut and copy all these different things that I've been doing with these quick cuts and stuff because of psychopaths. But just let me know, and I'm going to come up with a way of doing this. I'm going to get it done. So I'm a creative person. So, but anyway. But back to SPQR. I've got that on screen again. So again, this is only $10. It's $20 shipped. You can also look into getting some of the other Nine Realms back catalog, and it's good stuff. So one of the things that I love about Michael, I'm going to pretend like Michael's not here, right? One of the things I love about this dude is that he actually gets his stuff done on time. So, like, a lot of times when you try to do a crowdfund backing, I have some that are outstanding going on 2 years now. And I'm just going to be real here. I'm not going to name names. Get your act together. Okay? That's it. Michael gets his act together. And he treats customers right. And, hey, 80s May consumer, nice to see you. So we're talking about manga today. And this is Michael's thing. So if you've not backed this, by the way, you should back it. You can get a bunch of great stuff. You can get his a package of Elite Culture, which looks like it's got a collector's box. And it has The Embrace, and it has Elysian Fields 0-issue remaster. And then it's got Pyramid Gambit and SPQR, and it's got a T-shirt, and it's got a print.
It's got 3 mini prints and a metal print.
Yeah, it's got 3 mini prints there. So that's a good deal for $85. And 4 have already claimed it. But if you're just down for the manga, which is what today's topic is manga, SPQR can be had for the low price of $20 shipped in the US. So it's a really good deal. And I'm certain that you'll be getting it probably by the end of the summer, if not sooner. Is that right?
You would have it much sooner than that. Kari is finishing up the last pages this week. So like we do have a stretch goal where we would add 7 more pages to the book. So that would obviously push production back a little bit. But like, as I said, Kari knocks out these pages like it's nobody's business. Like 7 pages for her is like a week worth of work. So we probably have that the 7 pages done in a week, and then within the next week they'd be lighter.
Real quick, I want to switch it up here because I'm looking at the Embrace plushie here. So be real with me, Michael. Is this a tool to teach children how to count to 40?
I didn't think of it that way. I just thought it was an adorable like hug. And I got like a
5, 10, 15, 20, 35, 25, 20, 5, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 40. 40 toes and fingers. There you go. But go ahead. I'm sorry. That was rude.
No, but it was just Dean had done this like really cute chibi drawing of the embrace, and I was just
Wow.
like, we need to make that a plushie.
Yeah.
And so I had one done. It's 18 inches. It's a big plushie.
Mhm.
And it's adorable.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, we're definitely going to have that available.
Mhm.
And I think we've like it technically shows that I think that it says that there's been like 1 or 2 claimed. We have closer to 10 claimed because we had, secret tiers that were sent out to the pre-launch mailing list. So there have been a whole bunch of people that have backed the secret tiers and then added stuff on. Like we've had a whole bunch of people that added on the collector's box and everything like that, getting the plushie and what have you. So it's been really exciting, and for us to hit 50% so quickly, it's been really cool, and the hype is continuing as well over on Twitter. I've been posting stuff up all day, and our launch post has that I posted here this morning has already gotten 21 retweets, and a whole bunch of like so 80s made consumer. It will not be colored. The whole point is that this is a manga book. Mangas are not generally colored. They're black and white. But
Like this, real quick. I'm
yeah,
showing on the screen. That's what
like
mangas are supposed to look like. That's what God intended, guys. And so we're talking about SPQR is going hard or going home, and so it's black and white. Go ahead.
yeah. So but we do have like obviously we have the rest of my back catalog, which has the embrace, which is obviously fully colored. It's got Elysian Fields books 0 issue and Pyramid Gambit, which have both been recolored. Like they're both remastered.
Yeah, let me talk about that because I reviewed both of these books. In fact, actually, Elysian Fields, the first book, was one of the very first crowdfunding books or very first comics I reviewed. And the color here, I'm gonna tell you right now, is outstanding. It's just on another universe, an order of magnitude better than it was in that original book. So
yeah, you can actually see some of the original. Like I made sure to showcase a comparison. So if you scroll down on the campaign, when you get to the Elysian Fields section, so like this is an example of the original color work that was done by Marcelo, who's our line artist. And then you scroll down and you see what it looks like recolored.
Yeah, I mean, because check this out. I want to bring your attention to some things for our viewers out there. Look at the like misty kind of special effect that's going on back behind there, and then the speed lines. Whereas here you just got a gradient, right? It looks like it's a radial gradient. It may not even be radial, right? And this is like a quick and dirty color. This is almost like a flat. That's how uncomplicated this is, and it's serviceable, but it's not what you really want to do. You really want to bring this stuff to life. You want this to pop. And so whereas we know we've got kind of like a little bit of shading here. Who is this? Who's this guy? Drive. Why am I blanking on this guy's name?
Marcelo?
No, the character here. This is
you've got Gilgamesh and Achilles.
Yes, it's Gilgamesh. Okay, so Achilles. I know Gilgamesh. For some reason, I was just drawing blank. Look at his muscles here, right? It's kind of like the light's kind of all over the place. But look at this, right? Now you got He-Man action figures, and this is what you're looking for. And look at the steel, and look at the shield. So, I mean, this if you've not read this book alone, I mean, by itself, here's a great opportunity to pick it up with fantastic colors. And I mean, this is just it's kind of like you're going into Michael's personal digital comic book shop, and it's fantastic. So you can pick these things up. This cover for this remaster cover is just sexy AF, right? I mean, this is just an amazing, beautiful cover. Is this Marcelo too, or is this somebody else do this cover?
So this one was the line art was done by Von Randall, and we had this available on the 0 issue campaign as the black and white cut cover. And when Avery saw Vaughn's cover for this, he was like, I need to color it. I need to. And I was just like, okay, yeah, sure. And he sent me his progress, and I was just like, there's no way that's not going to be a cover. That has to be the cover for the remaster. And so, when we did the original campaign, all of the books were made holofoil as a stretch goal. And so one of the things that's actually available on this campaign is a limited print holofoil version of the remaster, where we have it printed on lava holofoil. It's $30. It will be signed by me. They're the only books from this campaign that will be signed by me, because doing that and having a fulfillment center is a logistical nightmare. But 30 books is not too bad.
No, it's not. And then you've got a Dan Dahl print for a t-shirt. By the way, this guy goes, I mean, I would probably use a different name than Booty Juice as a handle.
But it's just that is his handle. That's what everyone knows him by.
Yeah, that's what it is. So real quick, this t-shirt, by the way, and I can't zoom in on this for whatever reason. This is a cover, right? Didn't you have him do a cover for the Embrace?
We had him do the metal trading card. So if you have your metal trading card, like that's one of them.
Okay. So yeah, no, this is just amazing art, and you can get that as a t-shirt separately, or you can get, actually the $85 box is a fantastic deal because it includes all the stuff in it. So
yeah, the only thing it doesn't include is the plushie, because I have to ship that separately. Like it was one of those things. I can imagine. It was one of those things where I initially wanted the plushie to be with the box, but I was just like, I wouldn't be able to, it would make no sense from a shipping standpoint, because he's not going to be able to fit in the collector's box. And it's just one of those things where it was an unfortunate thing where I couldn't make it work from a logistical standpoint. It has to, the plushies will be shipped separately from the books and everything.
Yeah. So if you want a plushie that can give you a hand several times over, that's your boy right there. So
he gives the best hugs.
He gives the best hugs. That's for sure. So also, he is small. So like Jewel, his hands are small. He knows, but they're still useful. So I am definitely every time I see that character, I'm gonna make a hands joke, because my wife makes fun of me for listening to easy listening music. So, but anyway, back to the point of the stream. Again, it's we're talking about manga, SPQR, Bizarre Adventure. By the way, I've never really done a stream where I talk about someone's campaign so extensively. So Bancroft has the Bancroft bump. What should people buying things on a Drew with Comics with Drew stream be?
Man,
should that be a Comics with Drew jump, or should that be something different? What would be alliterative? That's a big word. Alliterative is like when you have things that sound the same, like words that sound like that's alliteration, guys.
Two words that follow one another with the same beginning letter. I'd have to get back to you on that, because I need to bring out my thesaurus.
That is your assignment. So 80s Maid says, I haven't gotten into manga yet, but I have the Battle Angel Alita books in my Amazon cart.
Well, 80s Maid, here's your chance to get into it. Get SPQR. Get the collector's box. Get everything. Get it all.
Yes, and that's actually a pretty good deal, and you'll get it quickly. So 80s Maid, I'm not unlike you. About a year ago or so, I was in the same boat. So here are some recommendations that I personally have. A lot of people like Attack on Titan, right? You can buy these books. By the way, most of these books are $10. You can get them on Barnes & Noble, Amazon. Attack on Titan's a great one that a lot of people like. I don't. It's not my personal jam. but a lot of people like that. My favorite and the very first tankobon I ever read is My Hero Academia, and
It's
one of the
so
reasons
good.
I love it is I love manga titles. They're so bizarre, and they're so crazy. But anyway, My Hero Academia was the very first one I read. It's a superhero manga, and it's one of the best superhero stories that is out there. Period, for real. And so again, I got 4 volumes of this. I've only reviewed the first one on this on the channel, but that's a great one. That's my personal favorite so far. And then another big one is a former webcomic turned tankobon manga. This is One Punch Man, Volume 1. This is a hilarious book. So it's basically about a guy who just runs around and punches things. That's his thing. He beats every monster, and he defeats every challenge with a single punch. And it's hysterical. It's stupid and wacky and crazy, and also has sold multiple millions of copies. But the granddaddy of them all, the one you must read if you want to say that you know anything about manga is One Piece. So One Piece is like what?
Disagree. Oh.
What'd you say?
I said disagree.
You disagree. This
I,
is this
I'm
is
not a
the
huge. I'm
best-selling
not
manga of all time. Okay.
I am not a huge One Piece fan. I've
Okay. Time out,
never.
Michael. Time out. Time out. We'll get into that. Just I'll give you a moment. I promise. So, this is what most people talk about as the best manga that you can read. Now, manga is very diverse. There's lots of different stories and lots of different things, as Michael's about ready to tell you. And yes, manga is black and white. Manga is when you buy it in tankobon form like this, which is where basically you get like usually 3 or 4 chapters that are compiled into one of this format, and it's in newsprint, black and white newsprint, and you read it like this. You read it right to left, right? So, and I can't. I'll tell you what. People talk about superhero comics and Western comics getting crazy and getting political and getting way off the message of what they should be doing, way off their mission. Manga is not like that, and that's one of the reasons people read manga. Is because you can guess what? I can read One Piece all day long and not hear a single thing about Orange Man bad, right? I can read One Piece or One Punch all day long and not hear a single thing about who he likes to date. So, I mean, none of that nonsense is in that. So it's black and white. It's great. If you enjoy fun, unique stories that are true to the narrative form, manga is great. Okay, so Michael is going to tell you why One Piece sucks and is not the best. So
I was never a big fan of Luffy. I like it. In a way, a lot of shonen. In a way, a lot of shonen protagonists tried to emulate Goku, because Goku is like the quintessential Shonen Jump protagonist, right? And I just felt like Luffy leaned too hard into that, and I was never particularly crazy about the art style in One Piece. It wasn't my jam. I much preferred Naruto. Naruto surprised me. It has some of the best character writing that I've seen from a long-standing manga. I think that the fact that its support characters have just as much weight as the protagonists in certain arcs really lends itself. It really showcases just how versatile the book is. It's really just a fantastic book, and fantastic show.
So Naruto is originally a manga before it's an anime, because sometimes I'm not necessarily certain about these things.
So the way that it generally works is that they get a manga, and then if it's popular enough, it gets optioned for anime. So there haven't really been anything. It's not like Harley Quinn shows up in Batman the Animated Series, and then now she's in comics. It's that's not usually how it goes over there. It's if you have a popular enough manga, it gets optioned for an anime. It gets picked up by one of the big anime studios.
Okay. All right. Well, so like an exception to that would be like Cowboy Bebop. It was just an anime.
No, there is a manga of
No, but
Cowboy.
was it originally manga or was it originally
Yes.
anime? It was
No,
originally manga.
it was originally manga, as with
Oh,
Ghost in the Shell.
I did not know that. See, I learned something new, and this is what happens when you get people on that know what they're talking about. So, yeah. So, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought for just a moment. So, all right. So, I know you like Vinland Saga, which is not really my jam. It's a little too violent for me.
It
And I
is.
know that you like. Everybody talks about Berserk, right?
Oh,
By
it's
the
so.
way, 80s made, if you decide to go like read Berserk, you're gonna see that they're all shrink wrapped. There's a reason for that. just understand it is not for under 17 audiences.
No,
So
no,
it
at
is
all.
not. And it's usually it's going to be shrink wrapped in like hardbound covers. So it's one of those.
Especially now because they've been doing the leather bound collector's editions of
Yeah.
that.
And
Um,
what is they call them mangaka? Is that the what the title of the person that writes and draws these things is?
yes,
Mangaka. All right.
yeah,
The gentleman who was doing Berserk passed away before the story was
yes.
completed. So much consternation and sorrow for people that are big fans of that. Um,
They
but
are considering continuing it. There's so like his apprentices effectively
mhm.
have all of his storyboards and his story bible for the rest of Berserk because
Oh
they were
wow.
about 70 to 80% done
Oh wow.
with the book. So like they have been, along with the Mura family, petitioning Young Animal to allow them to finish it. But the big thing is that in Japan, that kind of thing is taken very seriously,
Yeah.
like to the point where like if even if like a voice actor of a character dies, like if it's a major character, that series just gets done. Like it's a matter of respect, you know.
Oh yeah.
So
Something that
like
we don't have very much in Western society.
but like so like that like they've been going back and forth about it. I hope that they continue it. The last chapter of Berserk is very good. It is a terrible place to end. Like a lot of people are like,
Yeah.
oh, this is the perfect place for it to end. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. It's not
like,
the ending, guys. It's not the end. So
not even remotely a perfect place to end. Um, but
these are the same people that say, hey, it should be read left to right.
yeah. And to your point about Vinland Saga, what I will say about Vinland is it starts off very violent, and
Yes.
it still keeps some of that violence around. But one of the big lessons about Vinland is you have the first arc is effectively a prologue, and it's to
Hmm.
put the main character in this position where he comes to the realization that his father is right.
Mm.
His father has this whole scene with him where he tells him like who do you think you're going to fight with a sword? Why do you think you need a sword? You
Hmm.
have no enemies. You're a child. You have no enemies. No one has enemies. And
Yeah.
so, like, one of the things that Thorfinn, the main character, goes through is this realization of, the true hero doesn't need a sword. The true hero can win a battle without a sword. The true hero can do it without bloodshed, and he'll be in fights with people, but he won't kill them.
Mm.
Like
No,
he to
I
the
do
point.
remember that aspect of it. I went to because there's like a I don't know if this is a pirated site because it's so hard to find stuff sometimes, and you're trying to find it legit and you can't find it legit. But I did read some of it online, so I don't know if I did that legally or illegally. So I try not to do it illegally.
Yeah,
But yeah, I do remember that aspect, and that was intriguing, and that was something that was pretty cool about it. So, but real quick before we close it down because we're coming up on an hour now, I want to talk real quick about my project Dark Variants, and the reason why I'm doing a lot of this manga stuff is because in Dark Variants up here. Um, the main characters are big manga fans. In fact, one of them is more of a fan of the anime than a fan of the actual manga itself. And so the characters are having a big debate in this comic about which is superior, which one of these versions of it is superior. So I am coming up. I need to come up with a name for this manga. And one of the things I love about manga, if you go to Shonen Jump here, is you have so many crazy names that don't seem to make any kind of sense, right? So like PPPPPP or Undead Unlock, or even the famous My Hero Academia, or even just One Piece. These are just crazy. So I'm trying to come up with bizarre English words that I can throw together that mean literally nothing, and then I have to come up with something with it. So if anybody has any suggestions, feel free to do word association and throw them at me, because I've got an idea for a title for this fake manga that I'm eventually going to make a 32-page manga out of, a chapter of it, but I haven't yet come up with it. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And by the way, I will be doing live stream drawings of those characters. So I've got a couple different characters that I need to come up with a look. And so if someone has a favorite manga that they like a particular style, because manga, even though it's a style, there are different styles for different mangas. So different artists look differently. And obviously Dragon Ball is not One Piece or Kaiju number 8. So, which by the way is a great manga. You should read Kaiju number 8. So, but again, 80s Made, you may not have caught this. You can sign up to Viz Media for like $2.99 a month and read all this stuff. So if you just want to subscribe for I think you get like a week, a free trial of a week, and just pick something and read it, knock yourself out. So it's a really great deal. And that's actually the best way I have found to just dip your toe in and find something that you like and see if it's your jam. So, and this is of course not like, what are they, this is not hentai. No. So that's like adult manga, like adult entertainment manga. So
Shonen is effectively like
different things.
Standard adventure book is probably the best way to put it. But yeah, and there are like certain branch offs that are like similar, but they're a bit more mature. Like Full Metal Alchemist is a phenomenal story.
That's another one that's great. So,
but like it's a bit more mature than what you would find on like Shonen Jump. Like it deals with way more complex themes and stuff like that. Death Note's on Shonen Jump though, and that's a phenomenal book as well. It's the way I always tell people about it. It's a Sherlock Holmes book told from the perspective of Moriarty.
That's cool. That is cool. So, well, speaking of, there's Moriarty the Patriot. I mean, this is what I mean about crazy manga names. Moriarty the Patriot, right? Is it Mel Gibson running around in the Revolution with Moriarty? No, it's not. It's totally different. There's Candy Flurry. It's not Candy Crush, Candy Flurry. Here's one of my favorite. I actually did a video review. And by the way, if you want to see my manga reviews, they're on Rumble. So if you want to go to my Rumble channel, where they have not been, the long arm of manga law has not reached out to, you can watch all my manga reviews and my Tankobon reviews there that I have not left on YouTube because of craziness. So, but one of the ones I did review was 9 Dragons Ball Parade, right? There's lots of things you could think about with what 9 Dragons Ball Parade might mean, but it's actually a baseball manga because baseball is a big deal in Japan. So, and also, like I was telling Michael earlier, my personal favorite, Hard Boiled Cop and Dolphin, which is about a hard-boiled cop and literally a dolphin for real. It's hilarious. It is an hilarious manga. So I can't even begin to tell you. Yeah, definitely go to my Rumble channel. I'm going to put the link there under the replay of this. Go to Rumble and watch that because I laugh myself. I watched that video of that review and I still laugh because it's hilarious. It's just crazy, out of control. Let's see what else we have here. Zipman, Tokyo Ghoul Re. I mean, why is there a Re? Yeah, it's like let's do this. Well, let's see if we can like pick the craziest Shonen Jump title name. You want to do that? Does that sound like fun, Michael?
I'm fairly certain like the craziest one that I can think of is Dororo.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, we've got the Prince of Tennis. There's lots of sports ones. We have
that's the beauty of it, is that you had talked about, I was like, oh well, I don't see any of the politics or this, that, the other. The brilliant thing about manga is that they understand that there are different markets for different things, and so there are definitely political manga out there, but if you're not interested in them, no one's going to try and force you to read it. That they're there for that audience. They recognize the whole concept of target markets, right? So it's like
actually, no, 80s made. I think you need a new router, dude. So for real. No, we've been answering I think we answered your questions like 10 minutes ago. So, but yeah, you might want to invest in that. But I appreciate you watching and sticking through it, because that time delay can really suck. But go ahead, Michael.
And that's the thing, is that that's the brilliance of it. It's like there are romance manga, but they aren't going to be on a Shonen Jump thing. Every single every single thing that you see here is generally going to be catered for a specific target demographic, because that's the whole point. So you got you got sports manga, Hajime no Ippo is a great one. I don't know if that's on Shonen, but that's a boxing manga.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some other ones here. We have Neo Lation. We have here's one of my favorite ones. This is one of my all-time favorite manga titles. All You Need Is Kill.
Yeah.
All you need is kill. Yeah, you can tell why I don't sing. So
and there's JoJo.
There's JoJo's Bizarre.
JoJo's
Bizarre Adventure. It's not Mojo JoJo. It's just JoJo. JoJo's Bizarre. That's a Powerpuff Girls reference for those at home. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 1 Phantom Blood. So that's another thing that confused the absolute Jesus out of you. They'll say Part 4 Chapter or Volume 3 Part 4. You're like, what? So it's like they personally are out there to confuse the heck out of you. Let's see here. Hi-Fi Cluster, Fkin. Oh, here's another one. Science versus Magic. No, this is not a creationism versus evolution manga. This is just science versus magic. Just read it. Let's see what else we got here. Boys Over Flowers Jewelry Box, right? Oh my gosh. Let's see what else we have here. Oh yeah, Death Note. You're talking about Death Note. Gray Man.
Death Note is very good.
Just the names are just hilarious.
The creator of Death Note came out and did like a new mini comic recently. That's kind of like a massive epilogue to the original series. But anyways, man, I do actually have to pop off. But it was great hanging out with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
And thanks to everyone in the chat. And please go back. SPQR's Bizarre Adventure. If you just want the manga, we've got that. And if you're interested in catching up and seeing everything that we have to offer, get that Bizarre Collector's Box. It's a fantastic value. I really wanted to make sure that you got your bang for your buck.
Yes.
And I think I did that. But
yes, he has done that, and you'll get it way before the 4th of July, probably. So, all right, Mike. Thanks for. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, like, I don't want to put any like specific dates out there, but I'm hoping to try and get this campaign fulfilled by like June.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I don't want to put definitives out there because of like the paper shortage causing printing delays. But if everything goes smoothly, that's when I'd like it to be done.
All right, sounds good. All right. So again, Michael, thanks for joining us, and we will catch you later. And everyone, go back SPQR that watches the stream if it's still live. It should be live, and we'll take it from there. I'm going to stand a little bit longer, so if anybody wants to slide into the DMs and get a link, let me know. But Michael has departed, and so it's just going to be me talking. So, but basically, I know a lot of people like to pick and choose sides on this stuff, and it's not about that. It's about just finding something that you enjoy, right? Just finding something that you enjoy and just read it. And it doesn't matter if someone else doesn't like it. It just matters if you like it. So and that's all that's important. And one thing I've known or learned, going into this, my personal journey into manga, is that it's just the purest form of storytelling. So there is no agenda other than to tell a good story. These individuals that do this stuff, this is their life, and you don't have, like in Western comics, where you'll get like an author who has a run on a major title. So you'll have, someone saying, I'm doing a run on Action Comics, right? No, with manga, it's more like a comic strip. Actually, it's more like American comic strips. So if you're not familiar with American comic strips, which some people may not be because it's a dying art form, comic strips used to be a situation where a cartoonist would create 3 weeks of comics, and then they would send it to a syndicate office, and the syndicate would review it, and then they would sign a development contract, and then they would send their salespeople out back in the day to newspapers around the country, and then the newspapers would subscribe to the comic strip. And so the cartoonist would be at home and just at his drawing table drawing his comics, and just write his comics, draw his comics, and then Xerox them and send them out to the syndicate. The syndicate would then color them, edit them, and distribute them to the newspapers. And so you would have things like, Bill Watterson doing Calvin and Hobbes, and Charles Schultz doing Peanuts, and Kathy, I think it's Geiswhite doing Kathy. All these different guys, all these different people doing comic strips, and these are like what manga is like. In manga, you've got a person who basically comes up with an idea for a manga, right? And then they submit it to like Shonen Jump magazine or any of the other different competitors, and then they'll print it in their magazine, and then they'll see who likes what, and the ones that are liked the most, they continue going. So those are the ones that are popular. And so often, actually, I can't even believe I didn't make this connection earlier. Mangaka are just like, comic strip artists in the United States, syndicated comic strip artists. So like when, Charles Schultz passes away, there's no more Peanuts, right? But some comic strips will just go on anyway. Like I'm sure if Jim Davis ever passes away, Garfield will go on because he has an entire company that makes Garfield. So a lot of mangaka will do that. They'll have like a bunch of assistants, and that's what we were talking about with Berserk, is that there is a lot of people that worked with the mangaka who was doing Berserk, and so they're considering finishing the story because they apparently have the story notes to do so. So that's actually kind of crazy. So anyway, so you'll see a lot of comic strips that they're just the goal of the comic strip in America is just to give you a laugh a day or give you an ongoing story that's fun. So that's what manga does, and that's not what American Western comics do. And it's not to say that one's better than the other, but I will say this, that comic strips and manga give you a known quantity. You know what you're getting when you buy a Calvin and Hobbes book. You're getting Bill Watterson's Calvin and Hobbes. That's it. When you buy a Far Side collection, you're getting Gary Larson's Far Side comics. That's it. You're not getting anybody else's agenda. No one's going to roll up in and have Calvin, convert to, Catholicism, or have, Calvin decide that he's going to be a Girl Scout. You're not going to have any of that stuff. You're just going to have Calvin being Calvin as Bill Watterson envisioned the character. And same thing with a lot of manga, with most manga, or all manga from what I've seen. So, and I think that's one of the things that a lot of Western comics can't seem to crack that, and it's part of the fact of the matter is that, Western comics aren't like that. These characters are marketed differently, and they're sold differently, and they're merchandised out the wazoo, and they were created at a very unique time in history. So Superman people don't think about the fact that when Superman came out, it's like the 30s. It's the 1930s. I mean, can you imagine what life was like in the 1930s, right? And Superman was like debuted basically as a comic strip that was put together, and put in as a chapter in the cover of Action Comics #1. So a lot of the original comic books, like if you go get an omnibus of like the golden age of some of these characters, you'll see that they're basically in newspaper comic strip format because they were originally comic strips. And so the original artists and writers, they wrote it and then they moved on or whatnot. They retired and then they just continued going on. And that's how we got to this, business model where, you have journeyman people come in and out that take shots at writing a character and reinventing the character. And it can make for difficulty in coming up with something that's new. So that's just something that is a problem, I think, with comics, with Western comics that they need to come up with a way to overcome. So has anyone replied? It looks like nobody wants to come on my stream. Well, aside from Michael. And Michael's great. And I got some people that I follow that apparently they like to do adult stuff. So we're gonna not stream through. We're not gonna scroll through the rest of that Twitter feed just yet. So you never know what you see on Twitter. I see some things that all the time. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to mute this account. We have to mute this account. So, but anyway, so just to kind of wrap this up, I guess I'm gonna be doing more reviews of, like I said, manga and Takamon, like I did the video about, and I think I'm going to do My Hero Academia #2, Volume 2 for that, and that'll be my next Takamon review. So I don't know if I'll get it out on Tuesday, that'll be tomorrow for most people, or if I get it out Wednesday and it'll be another Takamon Tuesday on a Wednesday, which is kind of hilarious. I think that's personally kind of funny, but we'll see. Anyway. But again, thanks for watching, and go back SPQR's Bizarre Adventure from Michael Oden. It is $10 right here, and it's $20 if you want to get this perk. It'll be $20 shipped USD if you're in the United States. So anyway, again, thanks for watching Comics with Drew. I'm Drew, and I will catch you next time.